Floating Mirrors Say the Victor. How's everybody doing today? Amazing, I hope. It is your older than average YouTuber here for our second installment in the Build a Palette of new releases that we cannot get because we are on a no-buy. Didn't think I can create this one, but we gave it the college try and I think we did pretty well. We are talking about the Glamlite X Chucky or Chucky X Glamlite palette that is coming out on Valentine's Day, which I believe is Tuesday. I'm also going to be live on Monday with Woma Fungerdu doing an anti-Valentine's look. So we got a little practice in. So if you'd like to see the colors we chose, what palettes we used to pick the colors, and how we got this look and which colors we used, you're in the right place. And you know what you need to do? You need to keep on watching. Hey, are we ready for our second recreation? I think I am. So this was the tough one this week that I really had a hard, well, I mean, it comes out on Valentine's Day, but this is the hard one for me to say no to. And I didn't think I could actually create it, but with the help of all these, I think I did. So we are talking about the Glamlite X Chucky or Chucky X Glamlite collection, which is launching on Valentine's Day. So it'll be the palette, which I'll pop a photo here, that we are going to be recreating. There's also a mirror, a blush palette, and it also came with looks like a lipstick, lip pencil. Yeah, so maybe I might do a bold burgundy, bloody burgundy lip to go with the look afterwards, maybe. And then the blushes, shut the volume off. I think they were very pink. Yes, they were very, very pink. So we are going to try and create this. So let's start. So here in this photo here, I'll show 1 to 5, then there's 6 to 10, and 11 to 15. So we're just going to go in the order. So we might be jumping back and forth with palettes a little bit, but that's what we got to do. And then I will also pop up photos of the palettes with that'll show some of the colors also as we're going. So number 1, it looks like a silvery white, silvery gray. I do have a few in my collections, but I think the closest was from the mini Xenon palette from Natasha Denona, and it is the shade here. So it's this beautiful silver shade like so. Let's pop that there, and then there's that shade there. So the second one, luckily enough, and I think I only took 2 from this palette, so it is also from the mini Xenon by Natasha Denona. And then the second color, which is the matte gray, I think the closest that I had was this shade here, and then this one is called I forgot to mention the silver. The silver, yeah, is Chromatic, and then this is in the shade Mist. So I thought Mist was the kind of closest light gray that I had in there. So there we go. So those were the first 2 shades that I picked. So for shade 3, I went into the Teresa is Lethal palette. And there's a shade in here called Space Duster, and I think that is, thought I wouldn't find the color to match, but I think it looks a little bit more bluer gray when I show it here, but in person it has a little bit of that purple look to it. So for me, that was the closest that had a gray with a purple undertone in it. I'll have another shade in one of the palettes here that I can show you that I think was maybe a second best, but I thought that this one was the best. Another shade that I thought was going to be really tough is, maybe I should have swatched those other ones while I was doing it. So hold on. Here's the gray that goes by the silver, and then the horrible habit of shutting off the camera when I have a crap ton. So again, that was Mist. And then we were going to go into Space Duster from the Teresa is Lethal. Hopefully I won't shut this off again. And that is that shade there. So we've got the top 3 shades. Then this was another one, I believe that, yeah, so the next 2 were 2 that I thought I wasn't going to find anything close, but I think I did a pretty good. So shade 4, I picked the Man I Love Frogs palette by Sugar Drizzle Polish. And in here, I have, it's so beautiful. So I thought maybe the closest that I could find is this shade here called Leap, because it's hard to see without swatches, but this one does have some purple flecks and some silver. I think this one is a little bit more purple with silver, while this one I think leans almost a little silver with purple, but I still thought that this might be pretty close. So that's that there. And then I have that there. So it's probably maybe a teeny bit darker in the Chucky palette, but I thought that one would work really well. And then the other shade that I thought I was going to have a lot of problem, and then I found it at the last minute. I found one that looked like it would be pretty close. And I wasn't sure. I thought, oh, well, I'm looking through palettes, just open this palette. And I was like, okay, I think this could be the closest. And this is from Suva Beauty. This is the Rose Period. And this one is a little bit more, might have a little bit more red or brown to it. I don't know. It's an interesting shade. It's the one that's called Scarier Than Ever, but I picked from the Suva Beauty palette, I picked the shade Sisley, and I thought that was relatively close, or at least look-wise in the color story. So that was the one that I picked there. I think this one's a little bit lighter and that one's a bit darker. But like I said, that was a shade that I thought that was quite interesting and I couldn't really quite duplicate in my collection. So now we're on to the second row. And this was another one I thought, okay, I'm not sure if this is going to be easy to find, but it is from my beloved Glaminatrix Nocturnal palette. So for shade number 6, the first one in the second row, I picked Dusk. So I thought this might, well, Luna almost, but I thought Dusk would be the closest. Again, it's a little bit darker in the, it looks like in the palette. Like it looks almost like it's this, but shiny, but this was the closest one that I thought could work. So that's what I picked. See, once it's swatched, it looks a little bit darker, and then that's it there. Not an exact match, but I think in that story, or at least it nice matches as I'm going along here. So now we're on to number 7, and this is I picked from Gourmand Girls the Spooked palette. So that's that palette there. I picked the shade Fright. And again, I think the one in here leans a little bit more darker purple. And if I would have kept my J Star palette, I finally, from the Bloodlust, was it? I finally got rid of those shades. But I thought this one may be semi-close for number 7. And this is the shade Fright. So I thought that was pretty close. Make sure I cleaned off my fingers there. And then that would be that next shade there. Not quite. I think the other one in here has a little bit more purple to it again, but it was close enough that I could get the feel of that shade. So next we're on number 8, and this is where I pulled actually quite a few shades from. And this is the Beetlejuice Waiting Room palette. So I'm thinking if you never got this palette, I think this Chucky one would cover the feel of it. So we'll just open up the palette here. And then for shade 8, I picked No Exit, which is this shade here. Again, it looks a little bit darker purple in this palette. This could almost have been shade 10, but for shade 10, let's just jump one ahead. Oh no, the last three are all MILF's Waiting Room. So 8, 9, and 10. So 8, I did No Exit. 9, I did Dante's Inferno. And then for 10, I did Obituary. So I thought those 3 shades would work. So again, No Exit, Dante's Inferno, and Obituary. So though I thought these shades would work really, really well. And then we'll just do these together. So we have, let's do my other arm here if I can. We've got No Exit. Yeah, swatch No Exit work looks really good. Dante's Inferno. And then Obituary. So those are those 3 shades there. And I thought that was pretty, if not exact match, close to get that feeling for this palette. I will try and edit together a photo of all my pieces to see if I can get it to look so we can compare at the end if I got relatively close or not. I did take pictures of all my palettes. All right, so now we're on to the last row. So this one at first I thought, wow, I don't know if I'm gonna find this. I thought I had something like this, but then that was the next shade, and I thought, okay, well, no, that wasn't the one I was thinking. But then for shade 11, which was a black with silver, I went into the Lois Cosmetics Meet Me at Midnight, and it is their shade Midnight. And you can see here it's black, but it's got those beautiful silvery sparkles in there that we're looking for. So we're gonna go in here, and then we'll pop it onto this arm, and then it's hard to see here, but there, and this is a nice buildable black, but it does have some light silver. There you can maybe see a little bit, some silvery sparkles in there. So that was shade 11. Now shade 12 is in the same color family, black, but this one has gold flecks. So there I went in the Oh Honey 2, and I thought if I end up using this one, I made sure I had no base on because this one does have a lot of fallout, but it is a very beautiful shade, and it is called a Buzz Off, and that is this shade here, which is absolutely stunning. Looking at that, the black with the gold. So I thought that's definitely a match for what's in this palette. And then we are on number 13. Again, when I first look at this palette, I'm like, I know I have something. I swear I have something that was close to this, and I do, and I hope I can pronounce this right. This is Circadian, and this is from the Wildflower, or Nightflower, I keep calling it Wildflower, the Nightflower collection from Lethal, and it is this shade here. It looks a teeny bit lighter here that when I'm looking at the screen here, but I thought this one would be a good match. I'm running out of fingers here that are not super dark colors, so I thought that would match. So Circadian, so that was 13. So we've got 2 more shades here. Well, and then for the last one, I have a lot of choices because, well, you'll see. So 14, I also went back into the I kind of had 2 choices. I had either in the Beetlejuice Waiting Room, I thought that the shade Lydia could work, but this one is very, very like a more lighter red. But then I also thought Bloodlust from Bitter Lace Beauty could work. This one seemed, but I wasn't sure. So let's swatch them both. So this is the Bitter Lace Beauty. And then we've got to get Lydia here, which is such a beautiful red. I actually do the 2 together quite often. And then that's the Lydia. I think almost maybe the 2 together would work, but I think Lydia is probably the closest to what's in the pan here. So we probably may end up using that one. And then finally, our last shade is a black. And going from the palettes here, I could either use from Natasha Denona, the Blackest Black. I could use Char Man from Waiting Room, which is this black, and this is another black that has a lot of fallout. Or I could use from the Spooked palette, because Gourmand Girls does an excellent black. We could also use the shade Spooky. So black is an easy shade in any palette to do. So there we go. So there, what we think is close to the Chucky color story. If I can build the photo right, I'll see if I can kind of compare the two and see if I am even semi-close, but there we go. So that is our build using all these palettes that I've got jumbled all over here. So now I thought I'm gonna go wash my hands and then we can do a look. Okay, so we're gonna start our look. And then I've been really, really enjoying this P. Louise base. This is in Rumor 2, and I forgot a mirror. Hold on. Okay, mirror acquired. I thought let's use our melt one since that's a palette that we grabbed a lot of shades from. And then we're just gonna quickly throw on our base here. So I was thinking, since I haven't used the melt in a long time, why don't we play with that palette? It does cover quite a few of the shades. And then maybe I can even play with that Bitter Lace Beauty shade as well. So we'll see. See if we want to do a bit of a dramatic black and red look. Going to be doing a live on Monday with the Wilma Finger Do. We're doing in Valentine's Day / anti-Valentine's Day live. Gonna be playing with our Unearthly Cosmetics mystery box. Maybe some other shades as well. Try and stick to Unearthly as much as I can, and then make a look. So there we go. We are primed. So yes, I was thinking maybe that's what we can do, is that we will play with I kept the cute little pictures that came with from the movie. So yeah, so let's play with some of the shades that we picked in here. So like I said, we could go with a lot of different shades in black, but I think we will use the one from here. So let's use Char Man, and we can decide at the end what, where am I going? What shimmer we may want to put over top. So let's do this. I'm going to try and see if I can do this because I put skincare on just before I started filming. But if I can try not to get too much fallout, because this one can sometimes be fallouty, but I picked a fluffy yet slightly more dense brush to try and pack that in and then try and do a nice up shape. So yeah, so it was I think it was a little bit easier for me to definitely sit down and dig through my collection, go through drawers and figure out what I thought would work and take photos before I start filming. And you can still see the kind of the colors I picked and why I thought they might work. Ooh, this is nice. And so yeah, I love I've seen all the Chucky movies and the TV series. It was funny, when I was younger, I worked at a card store, Carlton Cards, and then I worked with a lady, and we kind of became a bit friends. I became friends with her and her husband, and their child loved Chucky movies and liked to watch them as a family. So I remember going over one night, and I think at the time maybe the first two might have been out, and we ended up watching them together, and it was like, wow, I actually kind of like these. I'm not always a horror person, but every once in a while there's kind of a series that I really like. So I like the Chucky movies. I'm a big fan of the Omen films. Actually, I think I have a DVD or a Blu-ray set of all of them that I was gifted. I'm a friend who also loves horror movies, so usually if he upgrades to a new limited edition packaging or with extras footage or whatever, he'll give me some of the other ones, so that way I can watch them too. And if they're films I like, I keep them, and if they're films I don't like, I'm free to find other people who may or who also enjoy the horror genre. So there we go. Look, I didn't do too bad on the fallout. I think one of the first times I used this, I think I remember reading that there was tons of fallout. So I remember getting a little bit, but I was always kind of cognizant of that. So then I can be a little bit more careful. Trying a new protein powder from a Canadian company, and it is very tasty. The weather is sucky here today too. Alrighty, so there we go. We got some black. See how nice and intense this black is. Okay. So that was the shade, and can I see what they're called? So in the Chucky palette, this one is, oh, Free Hugs. So the black one's called Free Hugs, and we're using Char Man. All right, so the next shade I want to use that we are comparing to, so I take No Exit, so that's shade number 8 in the palette, and in the Chucky palette it is called Play Pals. Okay, so we're gonna Play Pals, aka No Exit. So I'm going to take another angled brush here. Yeah, we'll go into that. No Exit. So it is this really, really nice dark reddish shade. So let's do that here in the middle, like with a little hint of, I don't know, it's red, but not a hint of purple. I think the one in the Chucky palette has a little bit more of a hint of purple. This one is definitely more black and red. Ooh, how crazy is that? I love it. So have you all been into this release at all? I'm really excited. There's a few horror ones. There's also, oh, what's the other one that came out? Oh, The Evil Dead 2. With, is it Creature Cosmetics? Yeah, that one looks really good too. But this Chucky, like if I wasn't on a no buy, I think I would have tried to buy all of it. The blush, the mirror, the whole 9 yards. This is so much fun. If it's still available after my no buy, maybe I might still pick this up. Because like I said, this is not, this is very intense. This is, I don't think as close. Well, I'll see once I edit the pictures together of the colors I used and try and compare it to the Chucky one. We'll see how close I actually got, but I can definitely say in feeling, this is very dark, bloody, horror inspired, I guess. All right, so I'm going to go again into the black, and I'm going to just darken, because this was quite the red shade, so I think I want to darken the black a little bit more too. Yeah, that's better. So then I'm going to take a really small brush with nothing on it. I think this one's just stained green. Yes. And then I'm just going to go and try and even out the edge a little bit, smooth it out. Okay, so there we go. So so the next couple shades we had were Obituary and Dante's Inferno. So that was Obituary, that's Dante's Inferno. But if we want to go into a brighter shade, we had in the Chucky palette the shade that was called, so this was 14 out of 15, Charles Lee Ray, which was like a shimmery dark red. So I was saying that I either liked Lydia or I liked from my Bitter Lace shade here, which this one doesn't smells, but not as nice as these other 4 glimmery ones I have. But then we just have the, what is it called? Bloodstone? Yeah, we're looking at Lydia or Bloodlust. Okay, yeah, Bloodlust. Okay, there we go. So I'm thinking maybe I'll do a little bit of this one, and then just closer to the inner, we'll do the brighter one in Lydia. So let's take some of this. This doesn't need any spray. It's very nice. And then we're going to do this. Look how beautiful this is. And we're going to do this here. And then we'll just do Lydia right up front, the brightest shade. Then maybe we can take from Lois Meet Me at Midnight a little bit of that silver, put silver black on the edge, or we can do that beautiful one from Sugarpill with a little bit of gold flecks and do that on the end. So this one from Bitter Lace Beauty is kind of like a multi-use. You could use it as a blush. You could use it, which I have done, as a lip topper in the past. Eyeshadow. I suppose you could also use it as a blush or highlight. It's pretty deep. All right. So now, that was Bitter Lace Beauty Bloodlust. And then now let's go into Lydia, the red there. And then we're going to do that along the edge, or right near the corner there. I think this one should be way brighter. You know, they're not much different, but just a little, you can tell it's just a little bit more boop. So pop that there. That is a makeup term, boop. And pop that there. There we go. And we'll decide what we want to do along the bottom. So there's that. I think that's really nice. So there is the lightest shade in here is that silver. So we could maybe do for the pop right in the inner corner, maybe we can use that silver shade from Natasha Denona. So let's go along the bottom and we will go back into Char Man. So it is that black, and then we're just going to go and do smoky bottom edge, I think. Bringing it all the way across, I think. I want a smoky bottom. So we'll have to, I didn't bring one, so I'm going to put grab my black liner from Queen Herbie and stick that into my waterline, I think. But there's that. So yeah, that's nice and dark and smoky. And then I may take a little bit of the Bitter Lace Beauty, and then I'm going to run that also underneath, I think. The darker red. I think that turned out good. All right, so then last for the inner corner, like I said, we're going to use a little bit of that silvery shade from Natasha Denona, and that is, I think, Chromatic. So that's that one there. So let's pop that into our inner corner. There we go. Okay, I think I'm liking everything, but I think I still want a teeny bit more intensity on the black. Okay, so got the shape. I'm just going to fill in a little bit more black, and then I think we'll be ready to do the base. And then maybe we can do the lip together. Okay, there we go. I think I like that. So I'm going to go put some black into the waterline. And yeah, a little black in the waterline. Mascara, of course. And then I'm just going to put a little bit more red here. And then we can come and do our lip together. There we go, that's better. Just a little bit more. A little bit. More is more. All right, so we will see you in a moment. Okay, so we're back. We put on some lashes, a little bit of black eyeliner in the waterline. For red blush, I had one from Moira Cosmetics, and then I just added a little P. Louise highlighter. Now we're ready to do a quick lip that I thought would go good with this look. So this is, oh, I put my glasses away. Ah, for crying out loud. Okay, so this is, I will pop a name up top. This is from Pat McGrath. This is one that I got on from a sale a little while ago. Maybe a year or two ago. But anyways, I thought this would be a really nice shade. And then we'll top it off with the Bitter Lace Beauty. So here we got kind of like that. Kind of like purpley kind of shade that looked like that was kind of running it through the palette with some of the shimmers. So I think that one really works. And then we're going to take a little bit of the Bloodlust. Just use our finger. Just pop it in there. And then I thought that would give us a look that matches the eye look. And maybe slightly close to the lipstick that comes with the Chucky collection with Glamlite. If not, I like it. Here's the lip. So here we go. So, okay, I'm gonna have to figure out how to edit better, but here's my comparison from the two palettes, the one I created and the Glamlite Chucky. So that is my, from last week's new releases, or Friday's new releases that I am not buying. Here is my attempt at a palette build for the Chucky X Glamlite collection. So if you'd like this video, please give it a like, comment, and subscribe, and maybe even hit that notification bell. If not, that's okay. We can still be friends. We can still build palettes together. As always, behave, make good choices, and we'll talk to you soon. Okay, bye-bye.